Memories of you when you were mine. Shadows of your style still remain in my mind. Hey, I had to tell myself it's too late to try. Take my breath away when I realize.
Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Elena, and in today's video I'm discussing a little bit of a sensitive topic here. You guys might be able to relate to it, you guys might not. It's about being a former fat kid and what it was like. When people like grow up and they see pictures of themselves and they're like really chubby as a baby and stuff like that. No, that was not me. I was chubby as a baby, I was chubby as a kid, and I am still chubby now, so yeah. I don't know if being a fat kid made it harder for me growing up as a kid, because that was the way I grew up. I didn't know if that was the only way made it hard because I was a fat kid. I don't know. I don't know if it was weird that I was a fat kid, the fact that, I don't know if it made it harder to be a fat kid, because I feel like I acknowledge my self-esteem a lot quicker than others. But my body, when I was like 6 years old, I felt like I knew I had rolls, I knew I had a big stomach, I knew I was a big kid. And people would not let that down, the fact that I was a big kid. Not only my family, but also my peers. Some of my teachers even acknowledged the fact that I was a fat kid. So there's like an example where like I was in a school play and we had to wear costumes, and the costume that I wore did not fit me. Not fit into it for the life of me. And my teacher told my mom and said like, oh, we have to buy more material because Elena can't fit into her costume. And I acknowledged that. I was full on like, okay, cool, like my teacher's telling me that I can't fit into my clothes, like that's awesome. Another time I remember was when I was in 3rd grade. A boy in my class, he was getting his stuff out of his locker, and I was doing the same thing, but I was rushing because I was a nerd. I love to be in class early. That was my thing. He was getting his stuff out of his locker and I was rushing, and when I was getting my stuff out and I was running to class, I bumped into him and like he full on like shoved me with his shoulder and was like yelling at me. He full on like put me to the ground, like he shoved me to the ground. Like I full on went back and like flipped back and full on like landed on the floor. I wasn't the person to start conflict, so when I was in conflict, when I didn't start it, I was so off my guard. And this kid was like yelling at me, calling me a fat kid, calling me that I'm useless, saying that I'm stupid, saying that like I'm too big, the hallway's not big enough for you, and just yelling at me stuff like that. And I was just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Like I felt the tears coming in my eyes, I felt everything. And then a teacher came over and was like, hey, what's going on here? And I just couldn't speak, my mouth was like glued shut. And they brought us to the principal's office. The principal was like talking to me separately, and then he brought him in, and then like it just went from there. And then he like wrote me a letter saying like, oh, I'm sorry I called you all those names and all that stuff. And like, you know what's weird? We eventually became friends. Also, when I was a kid, people would always be saying like, you shouldn't be eating this, you shouldn't be eating that. But then my family, like being Filipinos, they would be like, oh, eat this, why aren't you eating, Lane? Like I'd be like, what do you want from my brain? Like, do you want me to eat or do you not want me to eat? Like, I didn't know what was what. I was a kid, like you just eat whatever's in front of you because that's what your only option is. Sometimes my family members would be like, oh, why are you eating so much, Lane? You shouldn't be eating that much. And then they put more food in front of my plate and I'd be like, oh, okay, like what's happening here? I also, as a kid, wasn't really educated on what to eat, really. I grew up in like the late 90s, early 2000s. So like, I grew up where there is like juice boxes, like cookies, and like Dunkaroos, and bear paws, and like that's what you would be eating. I grew up with Vienna sausage, I grew up with rice, that's what I'd take for lunch with me. I grew up with Spam, like all that stuff. Like I grew up with those types of food growing up as a kid. That's why I was probably so big. I also remember always going to go shopping with my siblings. Like we would always go shopping together because we were all 3. And my mom just was like, hey, let's just all buy you guys clothes all in like one swoop, so she doesn't have to take us each individually. And like I remember I'd always have to go to the bigger girl sides while my sisters, being like the petite ladies that they are, they would go to the smaller girl section. So they would be getting like smalls, extra smalls, and I would be over there getting my larges and extra larges of like clothes and shirts and stuff like that. Also, people would always tell me like growing up that when I was younger I would eat so much at the buffet, the fact that they would charge my mom the adult meal instead of the kids meal. And I was just like, oh my god, I was like super embarrassed when people would tell me that. I was like, why are you bringing this up? Why are you bringing this up? I guess I should have been more active as a kid. Like I was never really as an active kid. I'd always be the one that was like playing video games and like I don't even know, like playing with my Barbies or something like that. I don't know. I would never be like running around or anything like that. Like I never had like any amusement towards it. Being a fat kid was something that was like, it's psychological. Like even if you, it's not only the physical part, like say you lose all of your weight and everything like that, like it's awesome. You losing all your weight. It's also a mental portion because you still feel like you're that fat kid. Like if you look back on your pictures and you're like, oh my god, that's still me. That's still what I look like. You have to change that about yourself because that's what I'm still working on myself as well. I may have been fat as a kid, but you know what? I changed that about myself. It's now the mental portion that I have to change about myself. The fact that like I'm no longer that person that I was. I changed so much throughout the years and I'm not the same person that I was before. I'm different. I'm blossoming, if you guys want to say that. Like a flower, you know, you grow from a really big seed and then like you grow into this beautiful flower. Like you have to think of it that way. Like you can either grow as a weed or you can grow as a flower. I have a couple pictures to show you guys how, I guess how fat I was as a kid. I was pretty chubby, I have to admit. I was a pretty chubby kid. But you know what? I'm changing. I'm becoming a different person now. Like I'm working on myself. So you guys should too. Like don't, just because you're fat as a kid doesn't mean that you're gonna be fat as an adult, because love yourself, love your body, love you. Do you, babe, do you. Here's a couple of pictures of me growing up as a kid, how chubby I was. If you guys wanna comment on that, I don't really care because I was a chubby kid. I was a former fat kid. And you know what, I'm changing. So that's all I can say about myself is the fact that I am changing. You guys can change too. No one is telling you that you have to be fat. Growing up as a kid, like my family members would always comment like, Elena, you need to lose weight. Elena, you need to do this. Elena, you need to do that. And yet they would still feed me food that was full of fat. And you know, life went on. I still live. I battled my scars. I ripped them off and I'm working on new ones. Full pictures of me when I was a kid. So I hope you guys enjoy them. This is me in grade 5. As you can see, my face is super plump. And I am gnawing away at this apple as a bumblebee. Such a cutie. Here is a picture of me and Anne. As you can see, my cheeks are always super duper red. Yeah, that's me and Anne. I'm super chubby. As you can see, look at my arms, like, and look at my hands. Oh my gosh, they're so chubby. This is like epic. Look at me. I was at the buffet and I guess no one was feeding me, so I resorted to cannibalism. Look the exact same as I did as a kid. Still rocking them overalls, still rocking the side ponytails and the long sleeve shirt. Still rocking. Oh, and the bangs as well. I still rock that look. So as you can see, people can change, people can grow, people can be different. You don't have to be just a fat kid. You don't have to be a fat adult. You can be something that you want to be. If you're a former fat kid, comment down below and let me know your story. Like this video down below if you're a former fat kid, or if you want to lose weight, like the video down below. We're all in this together. I'm here to help you and I'm here to help you grow. Remember to Snapchat me all of the deets. A couple of you ladies have been Snapchatting me. I've been getting them. I've been seeing your progress and I've been seeing the food that you've been eating. It looks super good. I am super jealous and I'm like, my mouth is watering every time, like, oh. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you guys in my next video. Give me guys some video ideas because I want to know what you guys want to be seeing in my channel and I love you guys so much. Remember to follow me on all my social medias. They're always going to be linked down below for you guys to check out and for you guys to keep updated and for me to keep updated with you guys. See you guys in my next video and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!